3 documents, the presentation itself, and then 2 appendices which I will relate to during the presentation. As you see, it's on cloud storage. I'll give you a brief introduction to especially my part of the cloud. Then I'll go to the aim of the project, the results, and so on. I'll talk a bit about Amazon. Then I'll go to my methods and my tools and further detailed description of results. And at the end, I'll sum up my own experiences and a little bit of a workshop I coordinated with through the project. So this is a model from Sagatalk, which is a company that did research in clouds, in the cloud computing sector, and they basically identified these 4 plus 0 level, 5 levels in total ecosystem of the cloud itself. We are here in the infrastructure, IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Platform and hubs is above, and software as a service, which is what Thomas was relating to, is building in platforms. So everything is interrelated. This wouldn't exist without this, and so on and downwards. A further detailed description of what infrastructure as a service is. It basically consists of data centers where you can build your own platforms, and then in those platforms create your own applications or software for services and so on. Now we'll go to some of the results of the project. This was the main aim of the project. This also can be found on the wiki pages of the school. Further narrow them down or detail them here with some comments. There's done a recent research by Gartner Research here, which identified that by 2012, 20% of all companies worldwide would not have their own IT department anymore, and they will outsource this to companies outside of their own company frame, which means that there will be security issues and so on that they need to take care of, but it also means that they will be able to cut down costs, as you saw on the previous slides. For my particular interests, infrastructure as a service, it's mainly focused on developers, but it also needs to create an understanding for business people, so they see it as a tool for furthering their business and performance, instead of just as something out there that's not really to get a hold of and only for specific developer or programmers. Some of the companies I identified, as you will see later, I focus mainly on Amazon, because Amazon is the most present company on infrastructure as a service and providing storage for the cloud. But of course there's other competitors that need to be considered. Continuing on that, some of the performances or outcomes I need to get out of this project. As you'll see in the handout for the professors, there's the first appendix is a questionnaire for the value-benefit analysis, and at the end, the last page, is a short copy of the evaluation methods. Also need to identify 10 to 30 suppliers. There's a link here, hyperlinks. Throughout the presentation there will be blue hyperlinks, which is the resources. You can click on them and get straight to the resource from where I got the information, and will be updated to the present date, or the last date it was edited. Overview of the market segment. As I said previously, it's mainly for high knowledge segment. It's the developers, the programmers, and so on. But it also needs to create awareness for the business people. Then you go further down, and there's different aspects of IaaS. Hardware as a service, which is on the spot, is provided by Backblaze, where you build your own storage system on your own location. You can also go software as a service, which is more like IBM or Windows. They will show up, they will give you software and hardware package. page that can be on your location, but they'll manage it from their own premises. Let's go into Amazon. It's basically just copied from last presentation, because nothing changed really much since then. So it's just, again, you see hyperlinks straight to the resources I got it from. We also can go further into detail with their performances and so on. Especially the SLA is interesting, since that's about security, but also the audit standards is interesting to go into. Some of the services, again, mainly focusing on simple storage as a service in this case. Again, further down, Security Center, constant update, a bit more detail about Amazon, since as you'll see on the value-benefit analysis, security is marked as one of the most important scales, measurement. Here's a picture of the VPN. Again, one of the security measures they have. Now we're going to value-benefit analysis. As you'll see, this is just broad about it. You can see further detail for the students. I sent an email yesterday where you can go in and see the documents they uploaded on Google Docs. This is also a storage system workshops. I worked close with Federico, a fellow colleague of mine, and he was supposed to create this ramp-up program for a one-day workshop where he teaches business people, developers, a broad scale of people in introduction to SaaS, and I helped him out a bit. And out of that I could deduct that the changing environment, again referring to the Gartner research, is going to be changes in IT. IT departments is going to disappear or diminish to a very small sector of the company. Mostly it's going to focus on new establishing companies and companies that's in the change period. Already established companies and large entities are less likely to do it. Further on my personal outcome, conclusions, I also included that in the handout. It's the second document. It's basically a copy from my previous study I did on my learning performances. I reevaluated it and identified that I'm still very much into these subjects, but I also learned from this one to get more proactive instead of reactive. As you'll see on the last lines, I was more hesitant and my communication was only email when I did my bachelor's. It's turned into a more communicative approach. I did some evaluations along the road, and I asked my colleagues and my teachers for evaluations constantly per email or in person. And that's the end of the presentation. So now it's open for discussions and questions, and again, further researches, which guides you to the wiki page of the school, and on the wiki page you'll find a further elaborate, detailed list of resources and documents and books you can look up if you're interested in something. Thank you.
One question about this document, the conclusion of learning. So you mean finally that you need more personal advice, or
I learned from my bachelor's that I need to get a more proactive approach. I was more reactive during my bachelor's, so I was often to react instead of being on front with tasks and tools and so on.
I think it's a general task in your study to be more proactive, and so you can also steer